If there's one thing I love to do when I travel, it's to ride in a hot air balloon overlooking a gorgeous place. I've had the privilege of doing this in several locations around the world, including Vilnius, Lithuania, Cappadocia, Turkey, and Palm Springs, California. I even named this channel the Continental Drifter in part because I imagine myself drifting from continent to continent in a hot air balloon and sharing my findings with you. Not long ago, while scouting for my northern Spain's Basque Country and La Rioja experience, I had the opportunity to take the most amazing hot air balloon ride over what is probably Spain's most famous winemaking region, La Rioja. The majority of the balloon rides I've taken start early in the morning in calmer winds and what to me is the most beautiful time of day, and the perfect time for photography. The company workers spread out the limp balloon over a wide area, set up the basket, and prepare the balloon for liftoff by using large industrial fans to blow air into the balloon. At this point, I recommend that you ask them if it's okay to safely enter the balloon for some quick selfies and/or group shots if you can.
Hey, I'm inside the balloon, about to take off here in Rioja, Spain. Can't wait to do this. Check it out. I'm actually inside the balloon as it's being blown up. This is incredible. What a great opportunity.
Next, they'll clear you out to be sure it's safe, and then, often with the basket tilted on its side, shoot a huge flame into the balloon to heat up the air. In short order, the hot air rises and the balloon starts to slowly lift off the ground and the basket will become upright. Next, the pilot and passengers will board the basket, and when everything's a go, the balloon will gently lift off the ground, and next thing you know, you're drifting. What comes next is an eerie calm as the balloon glides along with the air currents. This is mixed with short periods of loud noise as the pilot engages the valve that shoots a large flame up into the balloon to heat up the air. This way the balloon rises as he tries to gain altitude and perhaps find different wind currents to take the balloon in different directions. I'd recommend bringing an extra layer or two of clothing, but it's probably not going to be as cold as you might think. Remember, you're drifting along at the same speed as the surrounding air currents, and so there's little wind to be felt, but you'll surely feel the heat from the flame as it's shooting into the huge globe above. While you're drifting along, you'll get a perspective of the surrounding area few ever see. In Rioja, we took off and immediately drifted over some sort of quarry or mine. Then, just above the local highway, as trucks and cars zipped by below. Next, we got incredible views of some of the surrounding hills, valleys, and mountains, and then slowly drifted just above a river and an ancient bridge where our friends were waiting to see us from the ground. Depending on where you are and what time of day it is, some companies will even provide a mid-air sparkling wine toast along with cheese and crackers or some other tasty treat. We continued along, flying high above some local towns as the pilot directed our attention to various points of interest. We flew above the gorgeous town of Otto and others, and I did my best to photograph these places from this unique perspective I couldn't have otherwise hoped to get. Speaking of photographing, be careful with your camera and other gear and make sure it's safely around your neck or wrist with a good sturdy strap. You certainly don't want to drop anything from a balloon. We ended our drift about 45 minutes later, flowing high above the famous vineyards of La Rioja. Gorgeous patchworks of perfectly manicured fields of grapevines as far as the eye could see. These grapes would in time be harvested and bottled and end up in some of the finest restaurants in Spain and abroad. As the pilot looked for a safe place to land his craft, we silently floated just meters above the vines. The company's chase vehicle, ever in radio contact with the pilot and visual contact with our balloon, followed us all along the way and was right there when we landed. Soon the balloon was gathered up and stored away on the vehicle's trailer, and we were off to our next destination, a private olive oil tour and tasting nearby. But that's for another video. Some companies will even have a short ceremony after your ride to celebrate a successful flight and to hand out certificates as a keepsake. If you'd like to go drifting with me in a hot air balloon over La Rioja, enjoy some of the most amazing food in the world, partake in a number of private wine tastings, and visit a variety of charming towns and villages, then consider joining my next experience in northern Spain. And remember, drifters, life's too short not to travel.